Hey, everybody. I wanted to talk to you about one of our sponsors, Western Union. You got to find them on our website.
When I have a girl in a foreign country that won't shut her fucking mouth, you know what I do? I send her money via Western Union. It leaves little to no paper trail, and that's good by me.
Right. So if you're one of our fans and you've got one of those girls and there's
You're listening to that, Benita, you whore?
Yeah. Go to our website, JimandEddieTalkShit.com, hit the banner, click it, hit it, punch it, and practice punching her. Click the banner, punch the banner.
Yeah, it's an advert.
I went too far.
Send money via Western Union.
And it's on our
over
website.
over 137 countries. Actually, I could just say over 5 countries. It would still be an accurate statement.
Sure, it would be.
To send them to over 1 country.
More than just this country.
As many as 135 countries you can send money to. You can pay bills with it. You can pay bills online. You can pay mortgages, auto, credit, insurance, utility, government, and other type of bills that can be paid.
We know what the other ones are.
Hush money.
Colombia. So go to Western Union. It's on our website. The banner's on there, JimandEddieTalkShit.com. Anytime you got to do anything with money, anything, help us out and click it. Just click it.
Sign on through their barrier on our webpage.
Can I buy blow from Machete through Western Union?
Maybe. We're not going to say it.
You officially can't buy. You can get the money to do illegal things.
Yeah.
You can't buy.
You can't do illegal things, but you can get money. Yeah. So JimandEddieTalkShit.com and click Western Union. The best Western Union in the union. Hey, everybody. Before we start this episode with our friend Chris Strait, who can take a punch but can't take a wife, go to JimandEddieTalkShit.com. You can do all kinds of other stuff on there too. Find our Facebook, our YouTube, our whatever. There's lots of stuff. Just go, JimandEddieTalkShit.com.
Okay, before we start the show, I'm going to plug some gigs. And Just for Laughs, July 24th to 26th, and then straight off to the Edinburgh Festival and a small English tour. And I don't know if this is too far out, but watch Legit on FX coming out first week in January.
You can check me out. I'm going to be July 26th to 29th. I'm in Pittsburgh at the Pittsburgh Improv. August 2nd to 4th, I'll be in Seattle, Washington at the Underground. And then I go on my Australian tour, which is, if you go to my website, eddief.com, you can see I'm going to be in Adelaide, Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, and that's it. Fuck it, let's start the show.
Two douchebags on a couch. One's an asshole, one's a grouch. And relentless, all their mouths. Jim and Eddie. Talk shit. Jim and Eddie.
Hello, everyone. This is Jim Jeffries from Talking Shit. Welcome to the Rape Cottage. We have a comedian with us at the moment, Mr. Chris Strait.
Hello.
That's Chris.
Hello.
And I'm the healthiest guy, and that was my voice. All right.
Is it me you're looking for?
And we have Jesse sitting in on the couch.
Yeah.
I'm in the midget spot.
Really?
Because my feet are
Your feet
dangling.
Your feet that you're wearing Jason's shoes, which were my old shoes.
They're nice shoes, man.
That's the funniest fucking thing. When you walked in, I recognized them. I'm like, I know those shoes.
Yeah, I was hanging with him a couple weeks ago, and it got cold on the boardwalk, and I was wearing sandals, and so he was like, "Here, man, take these shoes."
I love that's like when you give a homeless guy $1 and you watch him go down the street and give it to another homeless person. He did that to you.
Yeah, man, but I've got a sweet pair of kicks out of it. So
no,
I'm
but
cool.
you're wearing shoes that were on Jason's feet.
I have socks between the shoes and
that
my
would
feet.
creep me out.
Yeah, no, I'm cool. So far, no diseases or anything like that.
Have you ever seen his feet?
No, and I don't plan on looking at him anytime soon.
It's just creepy.
What's the matter with you? You're sick?
Yeah, I've had the flu for like 6 days. It's fucking awful. Everybody's going to send an email now going, hey, AIDS has finally gotten you. It's not AIDS, it's the new AIDS.
No, AIDS, you get the flu. You get the flu like a week after AIDS. That's what the thing. They reckon that as soon as you get AIDS, you get like a cold like a week later. And then after that, and you just think, oh, it's a cold. That's just the AIDS setting in. And then years and years later, you die, right? Oh. But
I said, do you know what you've just done to every hypochondriac in the country?
But what I do is every time I fuck like a dirty slut, I just sort of sit out like, did I get a cold? No, I didn't. That's my test.
I think now, at this point, if I did get AIDS, I'd be like, it would be so hard to determine where I got it.
It would be your girlfriend, hands down. like that's the only person you've slept with in the last year, so I can figure that one out.
No, because you could get
it. It can
AIDS.
lay dormant for years.
Yeah, it could lay dormant for years and years. But also shit like Were you ever in a situation where like blood?
But you must have been tested recently in the last 2 years.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Right? So, I'd start getting into your girlfriend.
But what about that time when that guy was in that car accident and the naked dude and I was lifting him, there was blood everywhere?
I would have gotten tested after that.
Oh, shit.
I would.
After the boxer Tommy Morrison tested positive, they tested Lennox Lewis, they tested the referee from that fight, they tested everyone he'd fought the last 2 years before that.
And nobody got it?
Nobody got it. In fact, he has tested negative every time since.
Did they test Sylvester Stallone?
Yeah, thing. Yeah, it's
What you're saying?
he
You're
was in
saying
Rocky.
that Tommy Morrison doesn't have AIDS now?
Well, they're saying he's saying it was a false positive, but he won't provide. He won't take the Nevada State's commission. So either he's found a doctor that will play ball, or he has Magic Johnson disappearing AIDS.
So he still boxing?
No. He tried to make one of those 45-year-old comebacks,
Right.
and they interviewed him after a first-round knockout, and he's talking like AIDS is the least of his worries. I was thinking, wow, he's got the pneumonia from it already. This guy, it's amazing he's kept the muscle tone, but no.
Surely there could be a spin-off movie from Rocky V that would just be about him.
Like an AIDS film.
Like Rocky 5 T cells or something.
Rocky, Philadelphia.
Yeah.
They're both from Philadelphia. One's a fighter, the other has AIDS.
Rocky
those things
Philadelphia,
called,
that's quite funny.
Rocky lesions.
So he doesn't have AIDS?
Well, he has never gotten full-blown AIDS, and he tested positive 16 years ago. So,
I always wondered what happened to him.
Yeah, it's amazing. There have been a few like fighters like that tested positive and then had to quit fighting at different points in their careers, and only one of them that I've known has died since then. We're talking like since the 80s and 90s.
What other boxers have AIDS?
You probably wouldn't have heard of them. Eddie knows as I'm like
I dated them.
Boxing freak.
Jeff Fennick. Did Jeff Fennick get AIDS?
No, he didn't actually.
He would have died quick.
Did Sugar Ray get AIDS?
No, although the jury's still out.
I only know
he's confessing to the stuff that's happened to him, but it's Boxing Insider that he does stuff.
I only know Australian boxers.
No,
wait a minute.
Jeff Fennick, I had heard of. Won
Wait
a world
a minute,
title.
so
Lionel Rose.
Yeah, first Aboriginal world champion.
Yeah, well, the only.
Oh,
like
if you count what Anthony Mundine, does he?
Oh,
does he
yeah.
count?
Oh yeah, Mundine. Yeah, he was a rugby league player. Yeah, Mundine. His father was a boxer as well.
Yeah. His father fought Jose.
Sugar Ray they're saying there's rumors that he used to bang dudes.
That's going to start anytime you have a weird tell-all book, and his tell-all book said that that he was diddled by one of his coaches or whatever. And that's the second time I've heard that, by the way. I can't remember who the other guy was, but a boxer that had when I was 12 years old at the parking lot of the PAL tournament. This guy's fond, really a guy who you've just taught to assault.
Yeah, everybody.
You're jerking that kid off, really.
I went out on a night that involved cocaine and women and the whole lot with Ricky Hatton.
Yeah. Well, he confessed to the cocaine.
He got caught on film taking it. There was no confession.
I guess that's what we call a confession now. Even if the film doesn't come out.
I wasn't taking, but it was in the Playboy Lounge in Las Vegas, and he was off his fucking tits. And it was about eight months after he'd been beaten by Pacquiao, and he was just a fat fuck. He was just
he was a fat fuck between every fight.
I know, but
200 pounds.
the fact was that he was in the Playboy Lounge just groping at women's asses, and people were like, and guys were like, "Hey, don't touch my girlfriend's ass." And then it's like, because he's like 5'5" and he's fat, and you're like, "Oh no, I wouldn't pick a fight with him. Actually, I'd leave that." I
said Tyson used to do the same thing, but everybody knows him. So Ricky Hatton has that niche market.
Tyson was terrifying, though. I was at a nightclub once in New York, and everybody's like, "Mike Tyson's here," and I was like, "Let's go."
Like, just the knowledge that he was there.
Yeah, he was terrifying. He was just such a loose cannon that you just didn't want to be around him. You're like, he's gonna fucking punch me or shoot me or bite my fucking ear off. I just don't want to be around him.
There was actually a trainer that told me about another fighter that actually he got busted for cocaine, and that ended his career. And he said, "Yeah, I've never seen anyone do more cocaine than that guy." And I'm thinking, how are drug tests so good now? I mean, they're catching. There've been 4 fights canceled this year because somebody tested positive for something I've never heard of. Yet boxers were on coke throughout the 80s, and none of these drug tests caught anybody.
Do they blood test now?
Yeah, well, I mean, blood test, urine test before and after.
Urine tests show nothing. Blood tests show everything.
Okay.
And if they urine test, you can get through on HGH, you can get through on testosterone.
Before Pacquiao fought a guy, Margarito, Freddie Roach was in the back yelling at the commissioner, Texas's crooked commission, and said, he's about to take hydroxycut, and we don't, that's illegal. There's ephedra in it. And I said, well, we'll test them after. He said, it'll absorb and it'll disappear. You won't catch it afterwards. And now, sure enough, another one of Freddie Roach's fighters, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., won't give a piss test before 2 fights in a row now. Said, test me afterwards. So apparently Freddie knows a little trick to get around these drug
Oh, they all
piss
do.
tests.
That's how,
Yeah.
I mean, you can get into that with all, I can talk about this for hours with fucking Lance Armstrong and all these guys.
Oh, yeah,
and
they're starting to, they're exposing them all.
everybody with their testicular cancers and...
So I've said it just to pick fights. I don't know if I really feel this way, but when people start getting into steroids is cheating, first of all, now there's so many families of performance enhancements. At what point is taking vitamins cheating?
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
at what point is lifting weights for an extra hour than the other guy cheating? It's
I'm
at a
all
certain
for
point-
I'm all for performance enhancing. I want to see them as big as they possibly can fucking get.
Yeah.
As strong. I want to see Usain Bolt run a 6:0 100-meter dash. I don't care how he does it, what drugs are in his body. I want to see it. I want to see superhuman shit.
And let time decide. I mean, let in 30, 40 years, and these guys have weird side effects we've never seen before. We'll learn our lesson, but don't guess right now.
Well, they just had a study that said that it used to say NFL football players like died really early. They just did a study because they're all suing the NFL.
Yeah.
And they're all living longer. They actually have a longer lifespan. And
Well, so would you if your occupation only lasted 10 years.
yeah, you had all that money.
And then you got to fucking quit and just sit around. They're living longer than what? Than me?
Well, they were
You
studying.
know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, of course, I eat shit all day and I'm a drunk. You know, like fucking... Of course. Oh, what, this guy who was a professional athlete who worked out every day in his 20s.
Yeah.
And then pretty much into his 30s and then just sat back and never worked again is living longer than me? Of course he's fucking living longer than
And
me.
they're testing offensive linemen. And they're like, oh, they live longer than other men. Yeah, other men their size, 6 feet, 300 pounds, that incredibly long lifespan that the guys that don't exercise and look like that live. Yeah, they said the average blood pressure and cholesterol of just the offensive linemen, guys that are in shape just because of the size, was like off the charts. They were.
I got to talk about something personal here in the podcast. My mother has learned how to download podcasts.
oh, fuck.
Who taught her?
I don't know, but they're in trouble with me.
brother. Your brother.
No, Scott. The first one she listened to was the one with me and Scott.
Oh, no, she's going to hate me.
She
may have-
hates everybody. I wouldn't worry about it, but she's angry. She goes, you know what you said, and if you're listening, I can't remember all the things I've said. You're going to have to go through 144 podcasts. Like, there could be a greatest hits podcast of just me abusing my mother. We could definitely get an hour's worth of stuff out of that. So Scott got a phone call being told off, and he didn't remember what he said either. So he listened back to the podcast, and allegedly we just talked about how she used to call us fuckface as kids, and the time that she threw the ornament off the balcony that we got her as a present. So that's not that bad, is it?
No, you've said a lot worse.
I said a lot worse. She just hasn't heard a lot. But she's only on her first podcast.
Oh, fuck.
Right now, she's listening.
But even television, like her specials, you've said stuff about it. She didn't have a reaction to that.
Yeah.
You called her Gunta.
Yeah, she doesn't like. See, this is the thing. My mother wanted to come and
Forgot
see me
that.
perform in Sydney, right? And she was like, "Oh, I'll come and see you in Sydney." And I said, "Mum, I get nervous when you're in the room. I don't want you to come to the show. I'd rather you don't come. But your father can come." I go, "Yeah, I don't get nervous when Dad's in the room. I just wouldn't like you to come." And then she goes, "Okay, is there a bar at this gig?" And I said, "Yeah, well, there will be a bar. I haven't been to the venue, but there's going to be a bar. Of course there'll be a bar." And she goes, "I'll just sit in the bar while the show's going on." And I go, "Well, what the fuck?" She goes, "Then I'd get to see you." And I said, "Mum, if they see me in a bar talking to you, my fans will know exactly who the 70-year-old, 300-pound woman is. They'll crack the code and people will start calling you Gunter to your face. Is that what you want?" She goes, "Oh, I wouldn't like that, so I won't even talk to you. I'll just stand there." And I said, "Then why the fuck would you come at all? Just to look at me from a distance? Well, I'm not going to be hanging out in the bar. I'll be in the dressing room." Like that, right? And then instead of going, "No, I'm not going to come," she went, "Fine. I'll just sit in the car."
Is she the size of Ernie?
Yeah, a bit bigger than Ernie.
Wow.
I said, but you don't realize you can't do that to a comedian. I mean, you'd figure you'd know that about your own son. You can't tell us. I'm going to sit right there. It's just going to fuck with your head the whole time you're on stage. You're going to be, and on your way out, pet Gunter. You're going to end up saying something about it.
Once she came in, and it's the most I've sweat on stage ever. I broke out like it was a defense mode. My whole body just went. with water.
Yeah, I had the tough time when my parents first came. I grew up never saying, you couldn't say shit in our house. You couldn't even say.
Is that like how black people say, you couldn't say shit now?
we're allowed, like we call pee tinkle.
Oh.
And shit was
My
big
parent-
things. Like we were so Catholic.
You call heterosexual gay?
Yeah. But we weren't allowed to swear at all. Like I've never heard my parents swear. And then when they were coming, like you just couldn't swear in our house. Like I'm sure they knew I did. And when they were coming to my show, my first show, I was like, the fuck am I going to do? How am I going to do anything? And I was just terrified. I'm like, this is going to ruin the show because I'm going to feel they're sitting there. I can't do it. So about halfway through the show, I worked clean for about halfway through. Yeah. And then I just realized I don't even know how to be clean. And I would rather...
The self-loathing was higher than the
yeah, exactly.
fear of the,
I'd rather not bomb than...
Yeah.
So I decided to just go dirty. And I walked off stage and my mom was like, I can't believe what you said up there. And my sister told me, she was watching my dad. She's like, the dirtier you got, the more he laughed.
Yeah. That's what I was worried. I'd be worried about splitting my parents because I know the dark, evil shit that's in my mother's head that she doesn't let out. My father's the unfiltered one, but my mom has that weird humor, and I just got both. Is why I do what I do. So, but I just worried about splitting them, like them looking at each other and the things that they laughed at that I was saying.
But I took my mom out in New York City one night. I had like 7 shows, and she went with me to every show.
Oh, man.
And the first show I kind of worked clean, and it went well. Second show I started to bomb, and so I started getting dirty. And I'd been giving my mom drinks the whole time. And each show got better and better because she was drinking more. And we'd take a taxi to the next club. And I remember by like the 7th show, my mom's like, do the fisting joke. Like she was just shit-faced. And she's like, I love that one. And like the lesson I learned was just get them shit-faced before the show, and then you don't have to deal.
The lesson I learned is get your mother shit-faced and she likes fisting.
I was like, how is that not a T-shirt you sell on the road now? Picture your mom do the fisting joke like above and beneath her head.
One time after a gig that I bombed in Pittsburgh, my dad comes into the green room and goes, you went to college? Like he really said that. He was
There's
like,
nothing worse than bombing in front of your parents. Your friends is bad, but bombing in front of your parents is a horrible. Because when you first go up for your first few gigs, you think you're going to do good for some reason. Like your first 5 open spots.
By measurement, you have. Like at the coffee house, no one got a laugh, and you did 1 or 2. So you think.
So I brought a whole lot of friends along for my first 2, and then bombed, and then they just didn't support me anymore. And then my dad came to like my 3rd one, and I bombed, and he was just like, "Oh well." You know.
In retrospect, were you glad to be like rid of them for a while? It's like they'll let them come back and see me when I actually know how to do this.
I had one friend who listens to the podcast now, Philip Stamakostas. He's Greek, in case you couldn't have cracked the code. He was my WOG mate in Australia, and we sold mobile phones together. And he came along to all my early shows, and he would videotape me. He's got video footage of my like first 3 open spots, which I think one day might make some good DVD extra features. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's got all that stuff still on record. And he went to all of them and everything. And when I got my TV show, he was the first one to congratulate me. So he's been with me the whole time. But so he got married.
and he was like, I need a loan.
Yeah, exactly.
He got married to a girl that he met at his high school reunion that he used to go to high school with. 10 years later, he met this chick again.
That happened at my tenure too.
Yeah, and he got married to her, and I'd been living over here and over in the UK for the last decade, and so I go along to Sydney and I see Phil in the audience, and Phil's sitting there with his wife, and I'm like, fucking Phil's here. Wow, that's great. Phil's here. Phil's wife lasted maybe 3 minutes, 4 minutes. And the exact quote that Phil's wife said to him afterwards, she goes, "If I knew that was one of your best friends, I never would have married you."
Wow, shit.
Yeah, like, holy fuck, get to know me off stage, fuckhead.
Well, that's like
There are people that they really do think, and I don't know if I'd be more offended of them thinking the opposite, that we're totally different, that everything is a character, and that if you're even the slightest bit real, that shocks them. You've met those people. But yeah, the people that think that you are everything you say up there.
He is.
But you are, but you don't let it out every second of the day.
I agree with all my jokes, but some of my jokes have come from moments in my life when I've been angry for 5 or 6 minutes with an ex-girlfriend or whatever, and women are sluts and whores and this. I don't think that 24 hours a day.
Andrew's wife's not a big fan of yours, is she?
No, Andrew's wife doesn't like me either. None of my friends' wives like me. She doesn't hate me, Andrew's wife.
What they don't like is that you don't have one. That's all it is. If you got married and you seemed a bit clamped
you
down.
know what it is I come back into Australia and because I'm only there for 3 or 4 days in the city that they live in, it's their excuse to get fucking wasted. Right? So when they hear that I'm coming into town, it's like, oh, my husband's going to be a dick for 4 days. Right? Where if I lived in town with him, he'd be a dick like once a month with me.
Yeah, but Australians are looking for a reason to do that as often as possible.
Oh, yeah. No, Andrew's just fucking...
Yeah, it's amazing. Australians can find, like, they'll be like, it's Wednesday. Yeah. What's that mean? Well, let's celebrate. Why? Well, we're halfway through the week. And
they're not as bad as the British. The British are the worst. They'll celebrate fucking all day.
The British are just, it's ugly.
Yeah, for drink. It was like, I was in Louisville and like the comedy club is in like an area with like 10 bars and everyone sort of meets in the middle bit in the street and everyone goes off to their bars and comes, you know, the club, right? And I was just thinking, this couldn't happen in the UK.
Oh, no, too many fights.
It couldn't. Too much fights, glass, blood, bleeding, kebab meat all over the floor. Yeah. It would be a fucking shit mess.
When we were in Manchester at Jongleurs, remember Jongleurs was off of Gay Street?
Oh, yeah, it was off the gay village, yeah.
And you'd come out of Jongleurs, like, because it was
not a bad place to hang out.
The comedy club turns into a nightclub afterwards. Yeah. So everybody that's at the show is there, and you party, and then you leave. So when you leave, it's like all the bars are letting out, and there's kebab shops everywhere, and everybody's fucking out in the streets. But it's like the gay area. And one night we were coming out, and I saw probably like 3 like stand-up knockdown fucking gay fights, like fag fights. It was the best thing I've ever seen in my life because they would beat the shit out of each other.
Which is weird because I don't know what fists look like.
And then
there
was a lot of slapping, and like one guy would be beating another guy up, and you know it was because like the one dude was like blowing a guy in the bathroom or something, and then they would hit each other. And then, like, seriously, like, beat the shit out, and then, like, grab hands and walk home together. Or, like, you'd hear them, after he beat him up, he'd be like, but I love you. And he'd pick him up, and they would kiss and walk away. And I was like,
did I just break up foreplay? You would think,
Yeah, it was fucking awesome. We were filming it. We had cameras, and we were like, let's like, start to see, there was, like, bum fights. Let's have gay fights.
Are they better than chick fights?
Way better. Way better, because the dudes are going to hit a lot harder. Well, some of them. Like, you'd see, like, the fucking like Berg dude just fucking pound on his.
You definitely find out who the top and the bottom is, right? Very quickly.
The shit talking before
it's actually physically that way. One of them's on the ground, he's the bottom.
Oh, stop it! Don't hit me! Oh, please.
The shit talking before the fight. I mean, bum fights. Who wants to watch that? Some drunk guy slurring. But
shut up, you heterosexual.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, gay. The gay guy. I'd pay to watch that part. Forget
it was pretty awesome. I'd like to see an all-out bar brawl in a gay bar.
I told you that time that I broke up the fight in the gay bar.
Oh, no, where?
I'm sure I told this on the podcast. I was, Ray remembers.
Yeah,
I'll tell you. Yeah, I told it. All right, well, there you go.
Just remind me, though.
Well, what it was I was out with a girl in the nightclub Gay in London.
Yeah.
Really fucking eloquently named. And I was sitting there with this girl who wanted to go dance or whatever, and it was out near the Comedy Store, and I was looking at the balcony, and I went and saw this 2 lesbians having a fight. And then one lesbian broke away from the other lesbian and walked over and just started making out with another lesbian over this other room. The other one got more enraged. And I watched the whole thing happen. And then she just picked up a glass and just ran over and smashed it in the back of there. They started throwing fucking punches, right? I'm up in a little raised balcony area, right? And I'm looking at this fight's going on for a while. And there's just gay guys standing around going, oh. And I thought, I think I'm the toughest guy in the room. Right? Which never happens, like for ages, right? Yeah. So I jump in there and I go, you go over there, you fucking go over there, pulled the lesbians off, ripped them away.
It was over?
It was over. Security came in the end and just sort of dragged one of them with fucking blood and,
Have you ever been to Roosterfish on Abbot Kinney?
No.
Roosterfish is our local gay bar, and whenever I have a meeting with somebody, it's across the street from the other room, and they'll go, hey, let's go to a bar. I'm like, all right, meet me at the Roosterfish. and then they'll go to the
Take
Rooster
15
Fish,
minutes. Yeah,
and
you're
I go to
fucking
the
late.
other room, which is across the street, and they'll text me. They'll be like, "You sure this is the place?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Where are you?" I'm like, "I'll be there in 5." And then I'm like, "Sorry, 5 more minutes." And they're like, "Are you sure this is the place we're supposed to meet?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then I start
Do
going.
you do this before meetings?
No, I've done it with like friends when they come to meet me. I'll
Oh,
go
I
meet-
thought you were doing it with like executives.
No, I
You were
have.
meeting with someone about a TV deal, and you went, "I saw some to a gay bar.
So
Why can't I get on TV? I can't figure it out."
So,
To a gay bar.
And the
Oh,
best
just-
is then I'll go, "I'm in here," and they're like, "Where?" I'm like, "I'm in here." Where? And they're like, "This is not," and I'm like, "The other room." They're like, "No, you said the Rooster Fish." I'm like, "No, I don't think so. I said the other room." And people are like, "What the fuck, dude? I think I was in a, you think you were in a gay bar?"
That's the only neighborhood I've seen go from black to gay. Is really what I
McKinney?
I went to Culver City High School, and it's just hilarious at what Culver City and Venice has become with gentrification. Basically,
Fuck.
I mean, downtown Culver City was dead. There was nothing going on. Now it's all jumping on the weekends. And Abbott, you didn't want to be in Venice during the day.
Isn't
much
this
less
where
at
the-
It was
night.
ghetto. It wasn't
It
just
was
dead.
my
It
old
was
boxing
fucking
gym's an
super
antique
ghetto.
furniture store. It was like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Isn't this where they film Colors, like parts of Colors?
I wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, like
out.
I had a cop tell me once, like when I moved in here like 7 years ago, he goes, "Don't stop at stop signs." He goes, "When you drive down Brooks, just glide through." He goes, "We'll never give you a ticket."
Wow.
And I go, "Why?" He goes, "Because you'll get jacked."
Oh,
And I'm
man.
like, "I'm gonna get jacked." He goes, "Yeah, you just fucking glide through." I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, it's fucking bad, dude."
I mean, the housing prices are what did it. And what's funny is for a while I wondered, because I bought a house in Hawthorne, and I was wondering, I'm like, why the hell, what are all the people who bought for $200,000 and sold for $600,000? Where the hell did all of them go? And then a buddy of mine bought a house way out in Corona, and I took a look at his neighbors. I'm like, oh, here's where everybody is. South Central emptied out, and now instead of taking that $400,000 upswell they got and investing it wisely all in their house and having no payment, there's 20 foreclosure signs in the neighborhood, giant boats and trucks that they now get to live in. They're now back at the beach because they're living in that boat. But they all bought giant
Beautiful
track
inland
housing.
empire.
Yeah, inland empire.
Because there's
yeah.
still a bunch of crack houses around here.
Oh yeah.
And-
There's one at the end of the street.
yeah.
Oh yeah, the corner. Yeah, Jay Larson used to live there. Do you know Jay Larson?
No, did he die crack?
No, he's one of the comedians that hosts the Crab Feast, and he was telling me, he's like, "Yeah, I lived there." I'm like, "That's like the biggest drug house on our street. Like they hang the tennis shoes from the wires there."
Oh wow.
That means that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Didn't we determine that?
No, they are drug dealers, those people at the end.
They've got to advance them, though. I mean, they need to come up with a new shtick to let people know, because won't cops know that?
You know
now?
what? You know what's good? Texting. It's like the drug industry hasn't figured out technology yet. Hey man, we just hang these shoes off these wires to let people know where we are.
Drug phones.
Fucking even prostitutes work off the internet.
No, even drug phones. My father's business for years was right across the street from in Inglewood. Surprise. From a drug phone, a payphone that they would gather at, and literally they took the payphones out because who the fuck uses payphones anymore? And for a good few weeks, he said it was just, you saw these sad crackheads sitting out there like somebody was going to bring their fucking phone back. They were just sitting at the corner like that. And you could literally see the uppers leaving them as the day. They're just detoxing slowly, sitting on the bed.
You buy like a pay-as-you-go phone. You buy one a week. They're $50, and you get 10 credits. And you throw them out. That's how I'd run my drug business.
Yeah. I saw a guy today as I was coming back here who is he's this dude. I don't know where he's from, but he's this little black guy who
Gotta
calls
be Africa.
he calls himself private security. He doesn't work for anybody. He's a volunteer, and he comes down to Venice. He observes and he reports. That's what he does. And I go, "How'd you like to come be on our podcast?" And he goes, "I'm kind of shy." And I'm like, "No, you'll be okay." And I was like, "We got to get this guy on," because he just rides around the neighborhood. He goes, I go, "You catch anyone good lately?" He goes, "Got a guy on bath salts." I'm like, "You didn't fucking get someone on bath." He goes, "Yeah, he was crazy. He was fucking punching cars." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, so he was on bath salts." And I love how everybody jumps to the conclusion that it's bath salts.
It's the new thing. No, I have two ways to look at that. One way you think, on the list of things to do with crazy, that's not so bad. The guy that becomes like the guardian angel of the neighborhood. But then the other side of me goes, yeah, but he's going to enforce 90% stupid rules. Laws that don't need to be enforced anyway. I mean, he's not stopping killings.
No, he's
Well, I like it when you watch those documentaries there's about 50 or 60 guys in the world now who are just putting on superhero outfits. And there's lots of documentaries on these guys. There's one in every major city now.
Are they synchronized though? I mean, are they part of
In some
The
places,
League of Justice?
Yes,
in some places they're getting together and they're finding out all the different people. It's just like what's that movie?
The Ben Stiller film where they all dress up like...
Yeah, the Ben Stiller movie's like that one, but it's more like that one, Kick-Ass. Yeah, and there's a good documentary on Netflix about these guys that and then they went and they just in their superhero outfits walked around the park going, "We will not put up with the drug dealers in this park anymore." But if they don't have special powers or anything, they're just awkward fucking guys.
And they choose that law. That's what stops it.
If they had special powers, they're still pretty awkward.
No, if they had special powers, they're no longer awkward. It's always like some fat guy, and he's got one of those dummies in his house that he practices beating up.
Then again, Clark Kent was considered kind of a dork. Are they just really convincing with their alter ego?
No, they're not even their alter ego. They're dorky in the superhero outfit.
These are guys. These are Comic-Con guys, that just have taken it too far. And I've seen some of these guys, and it's pretty funny. But I'd like to get some of them on our show. How could we find them?
They're fucking everywhere.
Just get the bat signal.
Fake crack deal. We'll set up.
You could find. I'm sure they have web pages and stuff. I'm sure you could find one.
We have to get a fake superhero on here.
We'll get onto it. Farside, find us a fake superhero.
Farside, we want a fake superhero, and preferably.
Oh, we don't have a regular computer internet.
He's got to have tights. I don't want a baggy costume.
Oh no, they got to come in the outfit. Otherwise, they're of no use to us.
Wait, I was going to tell you something about that.
Are we not talking about Jason today?
Oh, fuck him. He quit again. He quit
Jason's
last week.
quit the show. Me and Eddie have decided that we're going to try to make him come out of retirement as much as possible and then push him to quitting.
Yeah.
We're going to see how far we can make him go back and forth. We don't even want him on now, but
Nope.
it's not for us. It's just a game that we're going to play called Can We Get Jason Back?
So he quit last week.
We're going to get him back and then just ignore him when he comes back, and then he's going to quit. It's going to be wonderful.
Here was last week. You guys all saw, and if you were listening to the show, as soon as it was over, Jason's like, I got to go. And Jason's responsibility here at the show is he's got to clean up afterwards. He goes, I got to go. And I go, everyone else is doing their job, Jason. Do your fucking job. And he goes, I got to go. I have somewhere to be. And I go, I don't give a fuck you have somewhere to be. You have a job to do. And he goes, I'm done. I'm out. So he left. So I went, you're fired. And he goes, fine. I don't want to do it. So the next day, he sent me emails, texts saying, look, we've had a good run. And, it's like a relationship. All things come to an end. And I just think that we should call it quits and let's leave as friends. It was like I was getting broken up with. And he's like, and I wrote back to him.
You never wrote to me. I didn't get a fucking mail.
And I
didn't get it either, Jim.
He said, Jim.
You're too busy over his house getting shoes.
He said, Jim's over me.
Or were they hanging over the pole? Were they on the wire?
Jim's over me, was it?
He said, Jim's over me, but he said, I just let's leave as friends. And I went, okay, I understand.
I'm not over Jason as a human being. I still like Jason, still want to be Jason's friend, but he stopped being funny in the podcast a long time ago.
But I told him, I said, so we'll let you go. You can leave. And, I said, it's like the Richard Pryor joke. I go, like the German Shepherd and the monkey. I go, we're still going to make fun of you. When the German Shepherd, I'm still going to chase you. So I go, we're still going to make fun. He goes, I understand. So I'm going to read his texts. He said, I didn't come back for money. I took a trip down memory lane over all the stuff we did and felt bad. As it sits, I'd like to remain friends and bow out on nice terms with everyone. It's not for me anymore. You guys risked me in a big way in Vegas. That guy hit me really fucking hard, and I did it because I thought it would put the bitterness to rest. It didn't. I was treated like shit.
Just fueled it on for me.
Yeah, it didn't. I was treated like shit the entire trip, and it really bummed me out.
Treated like shit? How was he treated like shit?
I kind of treated him like shit.
Oh, I didn't. I just didn't hang out with him.
It's clear that Jim isn't going to forgive me for blowing the shows at his house, and the dynamic won't be restored. It's time to move on, and I earnestly hope that friendship can heal. I'm speaking from my heart, Eddie. Please let me go on good terms.
Machete, can you put some music underneath that?
And then he said, I really need to make this company go with Raul. The chemo's going to destroy my parents' finances, and I have to step it up. So I said, I understand. We're still going to make jokes about you, though.
Was his parents?
It's not out of
his parents
maliciousness.
Not insured or something, or
I don't know. So then I got a text from him the other night that said, I'm at Townhouse. I just saw your favorite dwarf. And then I ran into him yesterday and I said, hey, want to come to the show tomorrow night? And he goes, sure.
right. So he's quit for this early show, but he's coming to the late show.
Because I told him, no offense,
So
Chris.
can we put this on the chart? He's back for one. Actually, this is number 2. He's been back.
I said-
3 or 4. How many times has he quit now?
I said, who's our guest? And I said, Chris Strait
Yeah,
and
3.
Jim Norton. He said, which one's Jim Norton on? I said, 9:30. He goes, I'll be there at 9:30.
Yeah, I'd fucking go to Jim Norton's
Yeah.
too. I wouldn't go to mine.
He's
I
now
would fucking-
picking. He's cherry picking the episodes he wants to
He
be
doesn't
on.
get paid though. But the thing is, so he's quit 3 times and he's been back 3 times. I reckon we can get him back at least 12.
I think we can do it, no lie, 47 times.
Yeah, that'll take years and years and years. But I think,
No, 47 weeks.
yeah, no, but
I can make him quit by the end of every episode.
yeah, I don't know because then he'll have a little bit of time off. I think there's a good chance we can make him quit during this episode and text him to come back.
But when he
But
comes,
if he catches onto your Richard Pryor line, you hope he doesn't leave you one back. You know, I'm going to leave a little piss over here for you to remember me by the dog before he leaves. So-
The problem is he listens to the episodes, but they come out so much later that he's all combobulated. He doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know what's real and what's fake. And I have a new thing with him. If he wants to talk to me and I don't repeat it on the show, he has to say off the record, which of course I'm still going to tell.
Read an off the record text, Eddie.
I can just imagine him saying that all the time in conversations with you now, just constantly.
He's gonna say it with everything. I gave it to him like it's like his new like get out of jail card free. I'm like, go ahead, and he's like, off the record. I'm like, yeah. So off the record, and I go. He goes, so if I say off the record, you're really not going to tell it on the show. I go, unless it's really funny.
Wait, so when he comes back though, are you gonna give him the microphone and let him sit in his
Fuck
chair?
yeah.
All right.
So this guy, he's obviously found a place. This guy used to live on your couch at one point, didn't he?
Yeah. He's
He's gonna get kicked out though of his spot, right?
What do you mean?
Of his July 1st. He's
Oh
gonna,
yeah.
he's-
Does everybody know that? Is that a fact? Does anybody know where he's going? He has nowhere to go. Everyone just shook their head. They don't know where they're going. Who are you texting, Jimmy?
No, none of your business.
Come on.
Jim, are you gonna offer Jason a spot on your couch like you did for Farside?
I tell you what I'm going to offer Jason. This is what I'm going to offer Jason. I'm going to let him be an extra or get one line in my TV show. And the only reason I want to do that so we have something to compare to how shitty his acting's gotten over the years.
I think you need to give him a line and then change it constantly.
Well, there's a bit of me that I just want to have a scene in Costco where he has to move something into a booth so that his entire life is typecast.
Yeah, but then you have to cut it out too, and not tell him it's cut out. Like let him throw a party and have all his friends over to watch. Well, I don't know where he'd have them. They'd be in a bar somewhere watching. He's like, "This is my episode," and then you cut it completely out.
Can you hire him to be a barista and be an extra at the same time?
No. I want good coffee on set.
By the way, if you're watching, this is how to make it in the entertainment business. Don't do what I did. Don't work on your act for 12 years. Just fucking crash on somebody's couch. You get an ocean view and you get parts in movies. Man, did I make the wrong fucking friends?
It's true though. You look at so many idiots like that in Hollywood that have just made it.
There are several I would physically beat. There are several I would physically
give me your
beat.
list.
And
Who's
I'm
on
not,
it?
No, I don't like. I won't memorize their name, but just people you hear the stories of. Yeah, I was sleeping in a car. This, that, whatever. I said, fuck you. I got kids to feed. All right. I made bigger mistakes than getting high too much. You can clean that shit up in a day. I love my kids. They're not mistakes, but me having them, me as a human being becoming a father, that should not have been fucking allowed. All right. It's anyone with my I came from people who were middle class and they had kids and that's what you fucking do. And my wife, oh yeah, I'll keep working. Yeah, bullshit. So anyway, I fucking dug my life into a trench that is not going to get out until I'm in my early 50s.
Sound like you love your family.
Yeah, I do. I fucking love them.
You just depressed all of our
I was
listeners.
saying,
out
no,
there.
because I'm not one of those
Every
married
guy's getting
guys.
a
I'm not one of
vasectomy.
those married guys with fucking kids that says you'll feel more settled. If you do, it depends on your personality, and it depends on who you find. And be aware, every woman, I don't give a shit what she tells you, she wants to quit her fucking job. And if you give her an excuse, she will, and she'll never go back.
I want to get married.
Yeah, but that's every man as well.
Well, wants to, but we men, I think, and I'm not going to say this to just champion men, but I think men have we have less faith that it will happen. I mean, we have the dreams like that, but I think that I don't think a man thinks that marriage or having kids means he never has to go back to work again. If anything, it means he's got to work fucking more. But
of course,
women still have that instinct that they don't, that means it has to stop.
But isn't there a bit of you that likes getting out of the house?
Every bit of me loves getting out of the house. But
I would hate to be a Mr. Mom.
But I'm fucked up. I know it. I'm fucked up. But the problem is that I'm the same fucked up I was when she met me. And my wife's not the only one. A lot of women, they change their they're hustlers when you meet them. They're out there, doing things. They're independent women, but that bullshit stops and that maternal thing kicks on. I'm glad I'm depressing you. I hope I hope this shit stirs in your head and you think twice about it.
I feel like my girlfriend never wanted to work to begin with.
Yeah, but was she? But when you met her, was she that way? Then that's on you.
I met her at work.
Oh,
but she likes what she does though.
Yeah, but it's actress.
Yeah. That's not real
work.
Oh,
yeah, but that's not. No, and she'll quit. That's the easiest shit to quit. They just, no one's hiring, and then they never go back.
Yeah, she hasn't had a job since.
Thing is, and I made, so I've got, a graduate degree and a halfway to another one before I decided I'd rather tell jokes. So you have every right to think that I made, fucked up decisions. But I mean, when the shit goes down and the economy gets bad and your money goes away and everything like that,
just get a TV show. It's easy.
Attitude is different. Oh, is that all I got to do?
Yeah, it's easy, man.
You got space on your couch? I can move shit at Costco.
I got space on 3 of my couches.
Fuck.
I actually do.
You've got 3 fucking couches. I'm still back on that.
I do have 3 couches in 3 separate rooms. Yeah.
Wow.
I think you should make Farside and Jason share one couch.
No, I got a spare bed for Farside.
Oh,
I got a spare bedroom, like a whole bedroom for you.
Sweet.
Pass the microphone to Farside. When are you taking me up on my offer?
Actually, after the first, I don't have to worry about working in the other part of town, so I could totally take you up on that.
Oh, when I'm more convenient for you to drive.
No. It's just I don't have a lot of money for gas.
Offers off the table, cunthead.
Yeah.
No. First week in January. Yeah, you can stay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can say first week. You can say 1 week in January. Now I think I'm
January?
January, July.
Are you going to throw up in his house like you did mine?
You can stay July and January.
Thank you.
1 week in July, 1 week in January.
All right, cool.
Yeah, but
Do you want to watch the dogs here in August?
Yeah, sure.
you can bring the dogs over sometime if you need to go away, and I can have them.
Oh, that's right. You're going the whole month of
Jim,
Not in
Tell
August, I'll be
Farside,
away.
you're
Last
committing
time-
your life. I'm sorry, the same way that I book
I have a
my
big
road
yard.
gigs.
I know. But
You're saying, yeah, that all sounds good. Yeah, 3 weeks or whatever. Then time actually comes like, fuck, I actually have to do all this.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eddie, your dogs will get the shortest walks of all time.
no, from Farside?
Yeah.
No, but Jim just said I can put them at his house. But last time I let Jim watch Noosa, he goes, I can watch her, I'm fine. And so I left, I went out of town, and Jim's watching Noosa, and I come back. Or no, the very first night I'm gone, Jim calls me, he goes, Noosa's puking. And I'm like, she had never puked before. And I'm like,
No, she puked right at the very end, like minutes before you got back. It wasn't as soon as you left.
And then I'm like, what's she eating? Jim goes, just her dog food. And I'm like, what the fuck? I wonder why she threw up. So then, like 2 days later, I'm watching TV, and Jim goes, can I take Noosa down to the Australian barbecue place? And I go, yeah. He goes,
I'm not listening. This
he
is
goes,
complete and utter tripe.
He goes, there's a hot waitress down there, and Noosa loves the ribs.
Right? Does anyone else understand why this isn't funny? Because Eddie thinks that dogs can't eat pork. This is such fucking bullshit. Dogs can eat pork.
They can't eat the bones.
Didn't eat the bones. Chewed on one rib bone. Never swallowed a bone. Never swallowing a bone. You said to me, dogs' stomachs can't eat pork. A dog's never gone through a garbage bin, eating its own fucking shit and everything, and then come along some bacon and gone, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's like tap the other dog and go, you can't eat that. Oh, that'll really get you.
Can they eat chocolate?
Well, they're not meant to eat chocolate, but they will eat chocolate.
And then what happens?
No, dark is, but milk, it depends, doesn't it?
Yeah, but that's because they're lactose intolerant or something.
Yeah.
Right?
But no, the opposite. I heard dark chocolate is worse. Like milk they can stomach, but dark chocolate
Right,
will
but
fuck.
It's
dogs
the
can definitely
terminal.
eat pork. That wasn't why the dog puked. The dog had something else. The dog ate some ribs fucking 3 days earlier. When it vomited, it was 3 days later. It wasn't anything to do with the ribs. I promise you that.
Dogs just puke sometimes. I mean,
Dogs can eat raw
Don't stick
chicken.
up for him, Jesse.
The dog puked once. I cleaned it up, and I've been hearing about it for a year now. Like
I'd never heard the pork thing. I'd heard that they couldn't eat. I'd only heard dark chocolate and tortilla chips, and that was because they eat them too fast.
It's
They
pork because
cut 'em on the
I
way
kept Farside here for a day, and I took him to the
He
taco
can't eat
truck.
pork.
He ate pork, and he threw up in my bathroom.
That was the alcohol that made that happen.
No, it
Not
was the pork.
yeah, maybe it was the alcohol I gave your dog.
What did you eat that night that you threw
down. An
up?
Australian barbecue joint. I'm sure they had beer.
Oh yeah, we had pork tacos.
See, it's the pork.
I blame the alcohol. The pork taco is delicious.
How many shots of tequila did you have? He goes,
See, if I remembered, then
he goes, I'm not a very good drinker.
I was screaming. It was just very loud in the place. I had like four shots of tequila.
Are you still working on Todd Glass's podcast? You're not?
No, I'm on Jay Moore's now.
So you're on. So are we. We're officially now on
Fake Mustache.
Fake Mustache. Yeah, this show is now part of Fake Mustache Studios, and I was supposed to say that at the beginning of the show, but I didn't say it. So
Now they have to listen to the
yeah,
whole thing.
Yeah. So mark this time. I'll let them know. We mentioned we're part of Fake Mustache Studios now.
Machete, can you put like a trumpet sound behind that? Like
Yeah.
exciting.
Fake mustache, studio to be with. That's the theme song I've written for him.
So you don't work with Todd
Fake
Glass?
mustache. You work on Jay Moore's now, do you?
Yeah,
All right.
it's pretty cool. He pays me and everything.
Giggity, giggity.
Really?
Yeah, it's rad.
We pay you too.
How much did he pay you?
I don't want to talk about it. You know,
Well, is it enough for you to get a fucking place to rent? Is it enough to buy groceries when you're mooching in my house?
Hell yeah.
All right, bitch.
You want to?
What and what happened? You're done with Todd Glass?
No. I mean, if he needs me, he needs me. But you know, he's got to pay for me now.
That's what he says about all homosexuals. I'm not done with him, but if he needs me, he needs me. He knows where to find me.
You're just a podcast whore, aren't you? You'll go anywhere.
Now I'm getting paid for it.
I saw somebody put on the Facebook
We're paying
page.
you now.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly
Yeah,
what
okay,
I would
cool.
say.
Now the money's coming in. Now we got adverts.
I don't feel dirty.
You get a small wedge.
I'm excited about this wedge.
Yeah, your wedge.
It's not enough to erase a tattoo, but it's
Are you gonna get a Jay Moore tattoo?
No, but I got a space for it.
so yeah.
Well, we're going to talk to Jay about that.
I think you're the only person who has more space coming up
I think-
every day.
I think-
every day you have a new bit of tattoo real estate that's just, oh, look at this.
I think you
I can
should,
make this stretch mark into a train track.
you should have to get a fake mustache tattooed on your face.
That's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
do
that's
one,
a
do one of the
great
little
idea.
finger ones so you
No,
can do
my
that.
brother did that. The finger thing. He still. Yeah, that's.
It's the worst.
He's
joke
got a
in the world.
tattoo
I
of
have
a finger.
thing against finger tattoos.
No,
Why?
they do the
Tattoo
they do the
of a-
moustache so they can go like that.
And the joke's over in 2 weeks, but the tattoo lasts for life.
And there was that girl that I knew from Suicide Girls, and she had a good one. She had a little, it said shh across her finger, so that when she went like that, that was quite
I've seen the teardrop one too. Somebody put a teardrop on their finger so they could hold it up their
Yeah,
eye,
and
and
just
they
be
look
that
like
for
they
them.
murdered someone.
In prison specifically.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
You murdered someone in prison.
I believe so. Yeah.
I put a like a penis along mine, so that when I put it down next to my penis, it looks like I have a big penis because it'll be the size of a finger.
Although it does look like a big penis next to a smaller penis, which would raise some questions.
And what questions would they be?
Are both of those yours?
That's one question. You said questions.
Well, I'd be waiting on the answer to that one before I moved along to the next one. You don't get 20 more if you don't have an answer to the first one.
I also have to mention Lalit is not here. Can I tell you why she's not
Rape
here?
victim. She's in a gutter,
She was in
being beaten up by Jason.
She was in New York 2 nights ago, and she sent me a picture from the Comedy Cellar of my picture on the wall, and just to show me where she was. And I wrote, "Which comedian are you cock teasing?" And then I was talking to Joe DeRosa, just randomly, today, and he's like, "Hey, I was hanging out with your friend Lalit." I'm like, "Oh fuck!" I go, "You're not gonna fuck her," but Lalit just said she just landed. She's back in LA. Was gonna try to come by, but may miss the show. I'll check in with Ernie. Blah, 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 blah. What?
Good text.
No, but she was, I got to find out what comedian she was with.
Brian McCarthy.
She was with Brian McCarthy at one point.
Yeah.
Didn't she, like, call him a rapist, too, on the show?
Yeah. She loves rapists.
She calls people rapists, and then she, like, goes out with them.
I just think she's desensitized because of the show, and then she takes it outside of the show into the real world, and people aren't
I'm gonna
are
rape her.
confused.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna rape her.
someone should rape her just
I'm
to
gonna
teach her a
rape her.
lace-
Does
lesson.
she call people rapists like she's trying to justify her own behavior? Or
I'm
is
gonna
she
rape
just-
her, but I'm
what
gonna
does she
do it in front of my
I don't know.
girlfriend, so it's not
No, it's
cheating.
just people that are like super flirtatious and with her,
Oh,
she'll
yeah,
be
yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, he was trying to rape me," and people are like, "What?" And she's like, "No, you know, like rapey, fun rapey," and we're like, no,
She's gonna get
that's-
raped, and she's gonna be like, "Oh my god, that wasn't the rape I was talking about."
Yeah, yeah.
That's like-
that was so much better. Like we'll find out all these other people be doing a lot more horrible things to them.
She's I'm gonna make her come over. If I said Jim Norton's our next guest, I'll bet she comes over.
I don't want her over. I'm done with her too. Her and Jason out, dead to me.
Dead to me. Can she quit every week too? She'd never quit.
She's never been hired. She shows up. I don't even remember how she started showing up.
Jason brought her.
So that's right. She came to one of my gigs, flirted with me, but she was on a date with Jason.
Oh, she's the girl.
Yeah, you guys started talking about it on
I
the podcast.
totally forgot about this.
Yeah, Jason brought her as a date to my gig. She was flirting with me, and then Jason went, "Don't ruin this for me."
Do you
But
know
yet
that,
he brought her to you
Yeah.
to show off that he knew you, right? Was
Yeah,
that what-
yeah.
And then, okay. Yeah.
Do you notice how we multiply in Mexicans in this room?
No, they're always having kids.
No, but there's always like another one.
Is he new?
There's another Mexican.
I thought I was drunk and I was seeing double.
There's always another Mexican.
Who are you, Mexican man?
I'm Jose. I'm friends with Chris Adams.
Which one's Chris?
the
That's it
mute.
right there, the
Oh,
mute.
the mute. Oh, all right. All right.
But we don't know what the mute is. He's not Mexican. He's
I think he's Mexican.
No, he doesn't know. He said.
I have a couple friends.
I thought that was just heroin chic.
he told me he's half German, half Jewish.
You're not Mexican, are you? He just shrugged his shoulders. I don't think
Because he doesn't speak. He
I,
looks.
I assume that you two go hat shopping together.
He looks. They're both wearing caps. He looks Mexican though. When you say you have Mexican features,
Coloring. I'd say
love how he
coloring
doesn't
more than
speak.
features.
And what do you do, Jose?
Stand up.
Oh, you're a comic?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all right. Then we won't be mean to you. Any good?
No.
Good luck with the career.
I'm all right. Suppose.
You're very piffy on the radio. Like I can tell just from talking to you for 5 minutes, you got lots of stuff.
Yeah.
I just
I don't know. I'm just a little on the spot. I didn't
talks
really have much
more
to say.
than the mute.
Yeah.
Mute, you ask
I-
questions, he just shrugs.
I didn't actually know he was on the show. I was trying to pitch him the show that you should listen to it. He's like, "Oh, I'll work on it."
I see you two should be like a double act.
Mute and muter.
I walked up from the back, and that's all I saw was
you
those
should be
two
called
hats.
the silence in between. That'll be your double show.
Yeah, you could be like what is Penn or not Penn, not Jill, Teller.
Teller.
You could be like Teller, and then what's another
The
silent
two tellers.
guy? Yeah,
Teller and Andrew Ridgely. I'm like trying to think.
I'm trying to think of another
Sidekick
silent.
That's no.
Oh, a Harpo Marx.
No, Laurel and Hardy. One of them didn't speak, right?
No, they both spoke.
They
No.
both talked.
The Marx
Abbott
brother,
Costello.
the fourth Marx brother, the curly hair guy who just
No, in the show, God, this is a obscure fucking reference. The show Newhart, the guy with the two brothers,
Oh,
they didn't talk.
Larry, Daryl, and Daryl.
Yeah, Daryl and Daryl didn't speak. So,
So-
they'll
so-
just be Daryl and Daryl.
So
Larry.
we worked it out. So you're Daryl and Teller. That's going to be your show, and you just nod at each other.
Can I be Teller?
No, because you just talked.
Yeah. And if you're under the age of 30, you won't get the reference. So that'll be half the joke. So.
That'll be everyone that listens to our show. We've been getting a lot of chicks lately that have been writing, and some girls sent.
I can't believe they all know how to write now.
I was going to say, way to sound excited on that
How
word.
is, how is the education in this country where chicks can write now? It's fucking, we're moving along.
We got here's one from Love Hungry Lauren. Man, I hope I'm sending this to the right place. I just recently
what a
discovered.
retarded comment.
That's a great story.
We just say our email on the fucking show every week.
I just recently discovered the podcast and have been catching up on all your episodes. I want to donate, but I'm currently unemployed. And if my husband saw your names on our credit card statement, I would have a lot of explaining to do, especially accompanied by the picture. So may I have your address and I will send however much money I can sneak by. I sent this picture so you would know I'm truly a talking shithead, hence the self-portrait. I don't have Facebook or Twitter accounts, so the only thing you can find out about me is by email. I know I have small tits, but at my age, I'm fine with the way I look. Besides, it's easier to run away from a rape cottage with less baggage. Please have Jim's brother on again, even if by phone. I have a serious infatuation with AC/DC, especially Bon Scott. And yes, I know he's dead. And Jim's accent turned me on until I heard his brother, Scott, and his voice reminded me more of what Bon sounded like when he talked. My husband knows of my love of Bon Scott, and he's fine with that. Again, blah, blah, blah.
Let me have a look at this picture. Let me look at this thing. How old is she?
I don't know.
I think she's...
Not smart.
Oh, I like this picture. She's quite muscular in the arms. I like my cock to look like her arms. But you can... Yeah, I don't know how old she... I think if she's into Bon Scott, I think this is a woman in her 40s, and I think she's taken fairly good care of herself.
And she wrote on the phone, "Hey, Jim and Eddie," and then took.
So she's sending this out. Her husband doesn't even know that she listens to the show.
That's great.
She's fucking filth, isn't she? She's all day. She's trying to get someone to.
Well, she's answering what she thinks your thoughts are going to be as she goes along. Like, yes, I know he's dead. Like, she put that thought in your head, like Bon Scott, he's dead. Like, that was going to be the first thing you thought of. And my husband's okay with me liking Bon Scott. He's like, yeah, your husband's not jealous of a guy who's been dead for 32 years. All right, sounds like a winner.
But by the way, just keep on sending us the naked pictures. They never go anywhere, but they do cheer us up immensely.
They really do.
And we always read the letters of a naked thing.
That's
if you want to get your letter read, you put a naked girlfine on.
Here's a good one.
They go on my phone.
What's that?
They go on my phone.
Creep.
Yeah.
I've got so many naked photos from the show.
Give me a look at all the photos.
He's saying that's so creepy.
I'm souped on it. I love it. I get bored and I'll just look at all the boobies.
And how many have you jerked off to?
None, but there are sometimes penises that show up in.
Well, you did use the word souped, so you're already thinking.
Get me to that photo album. I want to see.
More of a
I got to read another email from Justin Ellis.
You didn't say you got chowder on it. That was
He goes, "Here's my unsolicited themes for an episode or two."
How do I make this work?
Well, you look while I read this. How about getting a sexual harassment counselor?
I got him.
How about getting a sexual harassment counselor who comes to businesses to certify their training? You could line up the sound bites of cunt, Lalit's vagina, you forcing your intern to show you his cock, having Jason give an old-fashioned to a dog, etc., and ask if any of that counts as sexual harassment.
That one's good.
I like the artwork on that one.
The artwork, the fact that she's wearing a Jason t-shirt, the tits.
Oh, that's Travis from Longville.
Yeah, that's Travis from Longville.
Great.
He's our guy. He gave Farside money.
He showed me more of her boobs.
With the pierced nipple. Oh, was he at Vegas?
Yeah, we hung out with him.
Was that the one you made out with?
I didn't make out with any dudes.
Did we see this girl?
That's a dude.
No, that's a girl.
No, Travis is a dude. That's his girlfriend.
Yeah, but was she there?
No.
He's smarter than that.
Hey, does anyone know how our friend Mike White and his relationship's going?
I wondered about him because we haven't heard from him. I haven't heard from Milan either.
That's a good set of titties.
Jesus. Oh, wow.
If you're wondering, they're not passing this around to
Yeah, it's
everybody.
just Jim and
It's
Eddie
just
looking
fucking
at these
Jim and
tits.
Eddie.
That's my favorite. The one that just says me. That's the one that made you so angry. Just says, I don't know why that made you so angry. It just did.
And I know I did nothing to solicit these tits, but there are guys in here that might have helped.
Who's this blonde chick, Faso?
Oh, that's a whole long story.
Wait, are some of these not getting to us?
No, some of those are from Moncast.
Oh,
for me.
But you're getting them.
Here,
What the fuck
I'll
are
pull
you
them up on
Farside?
the computer.
Yeah,
Give me my phone
Farside,
back.
you're not sharing the fucking Moncast titties with the rest of the Moncast.
They're not boobs. It's just a chick's face.
How did you find her?
And I already showed you this one.
That
This
is
that
the
chick
worst tattoo
who wasn't
in the
a real
world.
person.
Poor John Queso. We need to have him back on the show so we can see how his tattoo is doing. John Queso, write to us. We'll have you. Oh God.
Wait, Chris, how do you and Eddie know each other?
Comedy. When did we first meet? Was it Bruco?
I don't know.
Open
We worked
mics.
on the road together. We worked
Yeah.
at that fucking awful club in Indianapolis.
The year they got Mexicans. Remember that? Because there was Mexican restaurants up and down, and I had been there like 2 years before, and they didn't know what a burrito was. So
Oh yeah.
that's always the way you can tell. If a city's got, and the more cities get filled up, the more they head to the Midwest. I met a Mexican guy from Winnipeg.
There's three
once.
Mexicans looking at you right now like they're going to slit your throat.
I'm from here. I'm used to it. And I tell people, and I want to make, you guys have like each lived in England in Australia. So I mean, you can tell me if this is a bad analogy, but when people ask, like, because people ask about the Mexican population here, and I relate it to Indian people in London, and that's the accuracy of number. I wouldn't say that's the accuracy of
What's your point?
their place in society. But like Indian people aren't known for breeding like rabbits, are they?
Are they? There's a billion of them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
There's a fucking billion of
That's
them.
true there though, but coming to your town and doing it,
No, well,
Go to England and check out how that's working for you.
yeah.
no, I've been, but it's been a lot of years. In fact,
I always say, like, if you look at like population rates, like when people try to, like Muslims, for example, and they want to, like, Al Qaeda wants to have wars.
Yeah.
Why bother? You're fucking us to death.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
you're gonna
You've already
take over
won.
the
Yeah,
world
yeah.
through population. If you want to start a war, just fuck a lot. Make kids. That's the best way to demolish.
I was having this conversation with somebody. I said that there's too many kids, or there's too many kids, and I'm like, no, the wrong fucking people are having kids.
This sounds racist.
I don't mean if rich people had as many kids as poor people had, and poor people had as many kids, first of all, the overpopulation would fix itself because there's only there's a lot less rich people than there are poor people. So and second of all, you disseminate the wealth better because instead of 2 kids splitting your $10 million pot.
But if poor
you
people
got
didn't
20
fuck,
kids
if poor people didn't fuck, we wouldn't have shows like the Duggins.
They can keep fucking. If we had, like they had to apply for their reproduction license, and if you were making less than $20,000 a year, you don't get it.
But I'd let a bunch of them fuck just for like fun.
Well, it keeps them from killing people. They're happy, but I mean, yeah, just for the fun of it. But I mean, if you sterilize, you'd somewhat, mandatory sterilization.
That would be fun.
Yeah,
We're talking about China.
That's how Hitler started.
Yeah.
It is.
Hey, who said Hitler didn't have a good start? He had a bad end. That's what happened. You're judging.
There is a Jewish person in the room. Not that
Like
big
you
of a
said, bad end. Missed one.
Oh, Jesus.
On that note, I think we end in this one.
I like Jews, man.
Thanks for coming, Chris.
Good night, everyone.